Hello and welcome to this very special solar eclipse dark moon transmission. However and wherever you are watching this transmission, I am so glad that you are here and welcome. And I'm so glad that we are all partaking in this incredible astrological, astronomical events together. So, to begin, I wanted to share with you some things that began to come through for me before I drew the cards. And so last night I started preparing for this transmission and speaking to my guides and letting them know I would be doing it today. And I started to contemplate what deck I wanted to use, how many cards I wanted to draw, how it was going to take shape. And things started coming through already and have been coming through for the past over 12 hours. And I actually woke up this morning with a horrible, horrible headache, worse than I have had in a very long time. I don't get migraines. I don't get crushing headaches very often. I would say one every several years. And I woke up at 5 a.m. this morning with an awful headache. One of those headaches where it's like you just don't want to move. And so I got up, took some ibuprofen, went back to bed. And several hours later when I awoke, it felt like, and my body knew that what was happening was that I was feeling the weight of feeling the weight of this moment as an intuitive, an empath, feeling the weight of what everyone has experienced when I open my channels and when everybody opens their channels, their energetic channels and feels it. Because this is what's happening. It is weighty. It is. And so to really acknowledge that it's okay. To know that the weight that a lot of us are feeling, most people who are watching this video today, I know that you are also intuitive, you're also empathic, you're also sensitive beings that connect to other people's energies. And it is chaos out there right now. It is. And I'm going to explain a little bit why. And we are feeling that chaos. And so one of the things that is coming through for me is that to really, because we are going to be as intuitive, we are receiving from the inside out and from the outside in. And that through this solar eclipse dark moon, we really want to be shifting our energy to the outside in and to not, as much as possible, not be taking in from the outside in, not be taking in that chaos. Because what's happening is there is a massive transmutation happening, and I'm going to explain what transmutation, what it means to transmute. So everybody knows awful, awful things have been happening in the past few weeks, especially the last week. We have seen so much hate on display. We have seen so much bigotry, all this white supremacy, horrible things coming through the mouth of the person that calls himself the president of this country. I'm sorry, I don't acknowledge him as my president, so I just don't like calling him the president. And if you're like me, you're also seeing it happen, and not on that grand stage, but also on a lot of smaller stages. Power systems shifting, corruption coming to the surface, and everybody kind of running around with their heads caught off like, oh my God, right? And a lot of people's inner demons kind of out display. And so experiencing this on the outside, as well as what's probably happening is you're probably also experiencing a lot of your own darkness kind of coming to the surface, a lot of your own wounds surfacing, maybe some old traumas coming back. And we can't carry both of those at the same time. We can't. If we try to do that, it is going to crush us. We need to focus on ourselves. And the fact that all of that ugliness is surfacing does mean it's trying to transmute. Everybody right now is trying to transmute. It's just that a lot of people don't realize they're transmuting. And so they are still attached to their hatred. They're still attached to their anger. And so us sensitive, empathic, intuitive people, we pick up that energy. And as light workers, we want to transmute it for them. But guess what? We cannot transmute it for them. We need to leave it to the universe. The universe will transmute that energy. It will release it. It will transform it. We need to focus on ourselves right now. So what this means is transmutation. And as I mentioned before, we are going to be experiencing a lot of darkness, a lot of inner darkness that comes from old wounds, that comes from past traumas. It comes from parts of ourselves that have really been shut off for a very, very long time, shut off and shut away. And it's coming to the surface. And it's coming to the surface not to haunt us, not to put us into a frenzy, but so that we can process it and come into a new relationship with it. Transmutation really is about coming into a new relationship with something that we had previously experienced as negative, as dark. And so when we are experiencing these parts of ourselves, to know that this is, let me walk through a little bit about the process is allowing ourselves to be a container of these inner darkness of ourselves, the inner darkness of ourselves, of these inner deeper, difficult truths that we hold, to allow ourselves to be a container of it without trying to change it. And that means accepting it, loving it, just being there with it. And it also means to not attach thoughts or beliefs to those sensations. It's experienced as energy kind of coming forward, and that energy then we feel it as physical sensations, emotions, right? So emotions, our thoughts really, really like to try to attach to emotions and make them about something. And this is a really important part of transmutation, is to just allow ourselves to feel it and contain it without attaching thoughts and beliefs to it. Through that process, when we're able to contain and just be with ourselves and just love ourselves unconditionally, the process of transmutation means that those aspects of ourselves will begin to transform. They just will on their own accord. And it transforms because our relationship with it transforms. It's as simple as that. So does this mean that we're not responding to what is happening in our worlds? No, that is not what it means. Of course, we're going to respond to all the hatred and bigotry and white supremacy and awfulness, of course. And we want to do that from a place of love and purpose and truth. What it means is we're not reacting to it. We're not reacting to what's happening in our worlds. So instead of feeling the energy coming in and pushing it back out or processing in some way with what we're saying, instead we are going inward and allowing our own truths to surface and then find voice for those truths. Okay? So these truths might have to do with our own inner worlds, our own inner experiences, our own spiritual journeys that we are on, or they may have to do with the spiritual path and journey of our country, of our world. Okay? So it could be either one. We are members of both. We have our own personal spiritual journeys, and we are part of the larger journey of this world. So that is a little bit about what has come through first, okay? And so before I started this recording, I did draw 3 cards, and If you watch my monthly transmissions, you know that I usually draw cards during the video. I didn't do that this time because I wanted to sit and meditate with the cards first before I started talking to you all. So what I'd like to do is actually, I'm going to hold up each of the cards so that we all have just a moment to just take in the imagery. I'm using the Mary L. Tarot deck this month, which is one of my very favorite decks. It is so deep, so mythological, so spiritual, and this momentous event deserved such a deep deck. So I'm going to hold up the images of each of these cards, and I just really love for you to sit with that image and contemplate on it for a moment, allow it to speak to you personally. Okay, so this is the first image, 6 of Cups. Get it so it's not reflecting the light. These cards are very reflective, so it's actually hard to get into a place where it's not reflecting. Okay, that's pretty good. All right. So 6 of Cups, the first card I drew was the overall theme of what is happening right now. What does this mean for us is the question I asked. Okay, the second card is 2 of Cups. Okay. The third card actually came through reverse, but I'm going to show it upright so you can take in the image a little bit better. It's the Chariot. The third card is the key and advice card. Kind of how do we make use of this energy? Oh, and the second card I didn't mention. The second card was the challenge. What is the challenge that's being presented to us? Okay, so I'm going to dive into each of these cards for us now, and I'm just going to flip my page so I have my notes in front of me, so in case I don't want to forget anything. All right, so the 6 of Cups, as I mentioned, I pondered. I threw 3 cards, one for the theme, second to be what is the challenge that's being presented to us, and the third being what advice, how can we really redirect this energy and make use of it, okay? So 6 of Cups. So with the 6 of Cups, what's really coming through is what this moment offers for us with the full solar eclipse, by the way, in Leo, dark moon in Virgo, okay? So what this event offers for us, what it means, is it means that our hearts, a part of our hearts, a piece of our hearts, is opening for the first time since childhood. So when we were children, we were hurt, we were disappointed, we were abandoned, we had horrible things happen to us, we had traumas, we experienced pain in all kinds of degrees, okay? All kinds of degrees. None of us had a perfect childhood. Things happened to us. And when those things happened, our hearts, that piece of our heart, developed a hard shell around it to protect itself. And it dropped deep, deep, deep down within our hearts. So if you imagine within your heart, there's a deep well of water. And it goes down, 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 down so far. And that piece of our heart grew a hard crust shell around it. It dropped down, 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 deep within our hearts, and buried itself in the sand to protect itself. We did this to protect ourselves. And this is an amazing capability that we have as human beings, to be able to do this. When we have painful experiences, to be able to lock them away so we can cope. Because when these things happen to us when we were children, we didn't have those coping strategies to really be able to process it. So we closed it off and put it away. So what's happening is those parts of ourselves that we lost during those painful experiences are ready to come back. We're ready to re-own them. And so what's happening, like this angel who is being pulled out from the deep waters, these pieces of our souls are coming back up through the waters. It's making its journey back home to us, back to the surface, where we can again integrate this part of ourselves into our hearts. So to get there, it needs to go through those dark, murky waters. Through those dark, murky waters where we often hide a lot of, not hide, but where we house a lot of our defenses, okay? So defenses can be, it can be really icky feelings like that we don't particularly like to feel, like anger, like shame. It could be some really kind of harsh beliefs we have about ourselves. So it has to kind of journey through those darker waters that are kind of right beneath the surface of us that we keep there to keep those things down. We build these defenses, and it has to journey through those defenses to come to the surface. And so that's why it can initially and through the process feel pretty icky, because we have to feel and kind of go through those parts of us first in order to recover these lost parts. And so the initial phases of this journey feel pretty dang icky, all right? And so it is the part that some of us get a bit lost in, and we might run away from it as well, right? And so what is happening though with this solar eclipse and dark moon is that there is an insistence. There is an insistence deep within us, a gravitational pull. So when normally we would be able to kind of like block it out and be like, nope, not going there, nope. Our hearts are like, no, we are going there. Sorry, it's happening. So I'm just checking my notes. So because of this, because that part of the process of going through the dark, murky waters in order to recover this lost part of our hearts, can be so confusing. With the Two of Cups is telling us that we need to direct it, and we need to invite it. That piece of our heart needs to have a place to go, and it needs to be invited. And so what the image that came through for me with this card is a mother. So imagine a toddler who is learning how to walk for the first time and has wandered away. And it's all happy and then realizes, oh my God, where'd mom go? Oh my God. And the mom crouches down, opens her arms and says, here, come here. Opens her arms real wide. And then the toddler comes running back into the arms. And maybe the toddler had fallen and was really scared and felt lost and disoriented. And the mom is there to hold and contain the baby and the toddler. Say, it's okay, you're home, it's okay. That is our role. This is we are dual players in this process, because we are inner children, but we are also not our inner children. We are us. We are our adult selves. We're our highest selves. And so we really want our highest self, our light, to shine and hold this scared, hurt, broken aspect of our inner child. We want to contain it, as I said before. And again, checking my notes here. So another part of this process, and what often ends up happening, is that our inner child's pain can be so strong that it can eclipse the rest of us. And a really important part of this process is to hold both sides of yourselves, to know that we are in union. And the pain that you're feeling does not belong just to you. It belongs to your inner child. It belongs to that lost part of you that you are recovering. And in order to really recover that part of you, those feelings need to be processed. They need to be contained. It is a process. There is a way through that. It doesn't just end in the pain. And that's something that's really important to remember. Just like a child who needs to be comforted, all their current reality in that moment is going to be like, is that they're scared. And once they're able to express that and it's able to be contained by the mom, the child comes back to neutral and is okay again. And so we need to remember that that's part of this process, is that it is to allow and accept the feelings for what they are, and to know when we do that, they will evolve and change. And beneath that pain is that part of our heart that transforms into love, and it makes our hearts grow even wider and bigger. So allow yourself to be in union with yourself. It means that you're not all your inner child, and you're not all your highest self. You are both in one. And allow that union to exist and just be. And allow yourself to feel love for yourself. I know it's a foreign concept for a lot of us, to feel love. And really, to do that, we have to just allow it. And we just have to allow what is to be. And to feel compassion for ourselves in these moments. So much gentleness. So much gentleness. So, I wanted to share something with this card. And these two cards, actually. A personal experience. A dream, actually, that I had last night, to kind of illustrate a little bit of what I'm talking about. So this morning, it was actually after I woke up with that crushing headache, I went back to sleep, and I had a dream where I was walking into it was like a garage, but it was also a greenhouse. My parents were growing they were growing these little plants in sand, and they had them in these drawers. And they were opening the drawers and showing me these plants that they had been growing. And they were desert plants. They were like succulents. And so one of the drawers they opened, and they showed all these little buds, and they were like a green succulent plant that's closed and hasn't yet opened yet. And inside there would be a flower, but it hadn't opened yet. So they were showing me these little buds, these succulents that were growing. And when I looked at them, and I said, wait a minute, aren't those plants that when they blossom and open, you have like a uncontrollable reaction of just like throwing up and like retching, like they make the person retch, they give off some kind of like energy that just makes the person retch. And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, and I was looking at plants, and at first I got incredibly scared. I was like, I don't want to be around these plants when they open. And I just really wanted to get out of there. And I felt this really, really icky, awful feeling. And I said to them, my mom and my dad, I said, why would you grow these then? Like, and they're like, I don't know. Oh, yeah, I don't know. And they were just, they just kind of acted like that. But I was just ready to like book it and get out of there. It's like, oh, this is not good. What they are growing is not good. And I need to get out. So I woke up and I had this really, really icky feeling, that icky feeling of like something awful that's going to like come and like making me react in this awful way and be throwing up. And at first, my initial reaction was, oh my gosh, like what does this mean? Oh my gosh, I want to block that out. I really did want to kind of block it out. And then I was like, okay, no, this isn't me. This is a deeper inner child who's trying to communicate something to me about her experience. And what that experience is, when I was able to just kind of sit with it and sit with the ickiness and process it, I realized is her distrust in things that are growing and blossoming and things that are offered to her. Believing that when something is growing, distrusting the natural growth cycle, that something that is coming to be is going to hurt her. Something that has not yet come to be, but will, the anticipation of something leads to pain, leads to her being hurt. And so feeling like if she can't control something, that she will be hurt in the end. And so her truth is important, because without knowing her truth, I can't transmute it, right? I can't come back and say, and know, oh my goodness, oh my love, oh you're so hurt, oh I'm so sorry you had those experiences, oh I'm so sorry you have such a distrust, you think that you're going to be hurt. I can't sit in compassion with myself if I don't see her truth for what it is. And know that also there's another truth, that it's relative to her and her experiences and her pain. And so that is a gift for me. These cards are gifts. This Six of Cups is a gift. It's a gift to have your heart reopened from childhood. It really is. It's a gift to be able to give yourself compassion, to experience compassion for yourself, and to be able to meet those painful experiences and painful truths, and to meet them with love, and to meet them with a bigger reality, a much bigger reality, and other possibilities, and allow those to be a part of it through the compassion. Through the compassion. Other truths begin to blossom. So moving on to the third card then, with the Chariot. And as I said, this card did come through reversed for us. And the Mariel version of the Chariot is really about committing to our spiritual paths. Oh, and I also wanted to mention on this card, so while I was shuffling the cards for this reading, I started barking like a wolf, like a dog. And I was like, where is this coming from? I was just vocalizing. I was just feeling this need to vocalize. And as I was vocalizing, they started turning into yips. I'm not even sure if wolves bark, actually. Anyway, I found it then very interesting that this card came through with Odin. This is actually a androgynous Odin with her wolf pack. So the Mariel version of this card, the Chariot in all decks is really about the journey and about movement and momentum. And in the Mariel tarot deck is so very spiritual. And this card takes on I would say, a more nuanced spiritual meaning than in many other decks. And it's really about how we commit to our spiritual path and what we will do what we will sacrifice, what we will give up, and what we will give in order to commit to that path. Okay? And so this solar eclipse dark moon is an opportunity for us to commit to our spiritual paths no matter what it takes. And so like Odin, who gave up everything, he sacrificed himself in order to fulfill his own spiritual journey. And he had to go way, way back. He had to allow himself to die in order to essentially be reborn and deliver his truths to the world. So it's not that we are at a death and rebirth point right now, but what is coming through, especially with the card reversed, is that our spiritual paths do not take a linear route. They do not. Nature, the universe is not linear. And the moon really, really reveals that to us in her dark moon phase. The dark moon is like a gravitational vortex pulling us way, 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 way back within. Okay, like I imagine like a slingshot. Okay, so when you are ready to propel yourself forward, first you have to pull yourself way, way back. And so that is essentially what's happening to us right now. And this card is coming through to tell us that it's okay to give into that gravitational pull that's pulling us way, way, way back. And just because we're being pulled way, way back and we don't feel that we're moving forward at the moment, we might feel as though actually we're moving backwards. It does not mean that we have deviated from our spiritual paths, that this is part of the journey. This is part of what it means to commit to it, is to allow ourselves to move in flow with these universal energies that are so, so not linear, and to allow gravity to pull us way deep, deep within ourselves in order to then come back up, in order then to propel ourselves forward with an incredible amount of momentum that we never would have found before if we did not give in to this energy that's happening right now. All right, I think that is the end of the transmission. So I just want to take a moment and let it all settle. So as part of this transmission, I do have a wonderful gift for you that is being offered through my friend and colleague, Renée Starr. So Renée is a Renée is a lunar priestess. She is an award-winning author of I Am Woman, I Am Woman, I Am Divine. I really hope I'm getting the name of that book right. If I'm not, I'm going to correct it in the notes below. And she is a teacher of the mystical and magical arts, and she's a master, I should say, of the mystical and magical arts. And she has dedicated her entire life to learning about the wisdom of the dark moon and living by the dark moon. So she is offering us, as part of this transmission, a dark moon ritual, which in PDF form. So we can go to our website and download this ritual so we can really make use of this potent energy tomorrow, make use of everything I've just said in this transmission, and it's really about making this event, this amazing event that's happening, about it being for us. It's happening for us, not to us, right? That's really what magic is about, is really using the energies that are being available to us right now. So I'm so excited to do this ritual myself on Monday, and I'm so honored that she's offering this to us. I just want to read a blurb that she gave me, because it's going to be so much better for me to read to you in her own words about this offering. Okay, so let me open. Okay, so this is what she has to say. For me, it is the dark moon that sets the tone of the entire lunar cycle. As she beckons to us with her irresistible mysteries and primal, untamed nature, a time of prayer, insight, meditation, and stillness, the dark moon's silent, unseen essence can help us to heal the shadow self and discover who we truly are. By going deep within to reveal what is hidden, unhealed, and unrealized, we can recover our lost sense of freedom and recover permission to be free and wild. As I study the dark moon's ever-changing goddess, shamanic, alchemical, planetary, elemental, and astrological aspects, I find that this reveals not only the hidden underpinnings of lunar wisdom, but also becomes a powerful guide for my life. Okay, so however you're watching this transmission, whether in my Facebook group, on YouTube, in my email list, on my website, whatever page you're on, there's a link to find to either the blog post on my site, which has a link to Renee's offering for us, the Dark Moon Guide for us, or there's a direct link. So please go download this. That is Renee's gift for us. And I think that she also has a very special something to offer that will be in that PDF as well. It's a Dark Moon Lunar box subscription that you get every month. It seems so juicy and amazing. I've taken many of Renee's classes. She is my magic materials witch. Like I order all my essential oils from her, all my magical supplies, potions, and everything she creates just has so much magic, has an amazing touch. So I am sure this new Dark Moon box that she's offering is going to be so potent and so amazing. So go download the guide and then check out that offering from her. Okay, so one last thing before I wrap up this transmission is that I wanted to tell you all about a new offering that I'm going to be having this fall. So this is a 12-week journey and 12-week vision quest. And this is the first time I'm actually announcing it. So I have been, as you all have known, I have been kind of going inward and creating new offerings for you all. And this is something that has been born through my own spiritual journeys, what I really, my gifts of what I really want to offer you in the world. So if you watch this transmission and it spoke to you, and if there's something surfacing that you know is really powerful, that you know is really special deep within, but you don't quite have a grasp on it yet, but you know it's there. Or if you're just feeling kind of confused right now and blocked or stuck, if there's something in your life that you really just want to have changed, but you don't really know what direction to go, how to kind of bring about those changes, this journey is for you. And I really encourage you to check it out. So what this journey is it's an opportunity to learn how to live from the inside out rather than the outside in. So it's an opportunity to really learn to trust yourself and tap into your inner wisdom and take all the ways that you may be feeling unsure about yourself, confused, doubting yourself, not trusting yourself, transforming all of that into confidence, into trust, into excitement about your journey, into commitment to your path, into clarity and insight into what your next moves are. So we're going to be going through 12 stages of this process over 12 weeks. So each week another stage, and each week a live gathering. I'm keeping this group incredibly intimate to only 6 people. And there is a reason for that, because I know I thrive in doing small groups, and my participants thrive in doing small groups, because it's really an opportunity to connect really deeply to the other people in the group and connect deeply with yourself and have plenty of time to share, plenty of time to really explore in a safe and supportive container all the revelations that will be coming through. We're going to be using tarot and oracle and guided meditation primarily. Those are going to be our primary tools, as well as really learning and knowing how to kind of ask what inquiries to create for yourself in order to kind of go and make that journey inward, deep into our souls, into our hearts, and then coming back out again, okay? I liken it to walking a labyrinth. Have you ever walked a labyrinth? You spiral in to the center, you spiral out. So journey is really a great labyrinth walk of your spiritual quest and your spiritual journey. So if my description sparked something in you, please go check it out. I have just opened it to the public. As I said before, I opened 6 spots. 2 of those I think are already filled by now, so there's 4 spots available. So do check that out and get in touch with me as soon as you can if you're interested, and we'll set up a time to chat. All right, it has been such a pleasure being with you today, whenever and wherever you're watching this transmission. And I hope that you all have a beautiful, restful, intuitive, nurturing, soulful, and deep solar eclipse and dark moon on Monday. And I am with you, and we're all with you, and we're all together in this. And so I just really look forward to connecting with you sometime again. And thank you so much for being here. And I'm sending lots of love.